website, what the steps are on a purchase. Smart brokers who create that kind of content that is hyper local, because you can find a video from somebody in Utah, but their whole process, their laws are very different. So hyper local content about local best practices, local processes, that's crucial.
I want to ask you, Phil, regarding communities. How about drones? I mean, I know that there's an issue regarding the licensing, or you may need a professional. I heard of one that just went on fire into a building in Long Island recently. Have you come across?
It's not good.
Fires, yeah, that's
Yeah,
going to cause a
bad.
claim.
Yeah.
Maybe the clue report that will be found.
Right.
If you have a clue, that is.
Yes.
What about drones? Have you heard of, has our board kind of talked about the use of drones?
It's kind of the flavor of the month a year or two ago, and for those not understanding, drone is like a little camera that flies on a like a toy helicopter that can take aerial photos or aerial videos, and there's privacy concerns with it, and there's also compliance concerns from municipalities that don't like them. They don't want brokers to use them. I would just say check your local statutes to make sure it's viable, if it's allowed, and if it's not, don't do it, and if it is, go for it.
These are not the drones that you're looking for.
These are not the drones that are
You
used
did
for one
that
destruction.
just so you could throw that
no,
in
I
there,
just,
didn't you?
All right, how about social media? Social media has definitely changed the way we do business.
It's crazy.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, so it's very close to magic. So the companies that do social media have collected so much data over the past 10 years that they can predict the web habits of people that are going to move. So they know what predictive behavior is.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to advertise a property, we can create an ad campaign for a specific listing for the demographic, socioeconomic group that is most likely to buy that property, geographically centered. So we can, for example, for a home in southern Westchester, we can advertise it in the social media of people and the Facebook feed of people that, for example, live south in the Bronx or Manhattan in the boroughs, of a certain income, with certain web habits, and it's crazy. It is the most amazing thing.
Very interesting stuff.
And it blows people's minds. Now, this is the same phenomenon where if you're looking at a handbag on Amazon.com,
Yep.
you open up your Gmail and that handbag is in the margin.
Or even on
advertised.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
You buy a TV
it's the
dish.
similar
Yeah.
thing, but the stakes are much higher because it's applied to real estate.
Right. So, what are you seeing now? What's happening with that? Are
Okay,
people
so-
afraid of this? Are they embracing it? Or how are you
The
using
younger
it?
they are, the less afraid they are.
Okay.
The concept of privacy among baby boomers, it no longer exists. The concept of privacy that baby boomers expected in years past no longer exists.
Well, the older boomers are very nervous about
Yeah,
it.
it's unsettling that websites know that you just looked at something on eBay.
Mhm.
All right, millennials don't even notice it. So there's also community pages. There's also stuff, 360 things to do, and wherever New York, that's popular. But the idea of privacy and the idea of the web pages knowing what you're looking at and tailoring ads to fit your specific demographic, it's what is here and now.
Okay, so for the last part of this show, we talked about consumers finding out information on the internet, and they're looking and they don't want to be bothered. They don't want anyone bothering them. They want to look on their own, and then when they find something very similar to when I'm in a mall and I'm looking for a dress,
Mm-hmm.
if the salesperson comes up to me and says, "Can I help you?" I tell them, "No, I'm just looking. No, I'm just looking." And then when I find something, I want, where is that salesperson? Right, Melissa? I know you're definitely nodding there. That's when I want that person. Now, as a consumer, the biggest myth that we talked about earlier is when I want that person to help me, I'm going to click in and get the listing agent because I can get a better deal. Why is this a myth, and what is the danger with that?
Okay, so the listing agent works for the seller. So the myth goes like this. If I go directly to the listing agent, because they'll make more commission dealing with me with no buyer's agent, that they'll work harder to get the deal done.
Or I'll get a better deal, and I can get a lower price.
Right. So where that's inaccurate is that if they work for the buyer in any way, shape, or form, then they run the risk of losing their license. So they work for the seller, period. The seller hired them to get the most money for the property, period. Even if they, do that mythical slight reduction in commission, that in no way, shape, or form will get the buyer the same kind of deal that they would get if they had strong buyer representation.
Okay, very good. You have something to say? I see you standing on your feet there.
Well, I agree.
You're
That-
shaking your head.
That's the thought is to go directly to. I've heard that, and I don't know why a buyer, especially in the current, as Phil called the pay format we have, if this representative, professional real estate advocate will work for you at no cost, then why not take it?
All right.
So we're
wrapping
we're
up.
wrapping
So
up.
Scott, how do we reach you?
Scott Forcino, Exit Realty Group, 914-879-8411.
And Melissa, we are so happy that you're here. I wish that you had so much more to say.
Well,
we'll
I-
have to get you back on.
I have plenty to say, but that'll be for another day.
Okay,
So,
you're on. Thank you very
That
much
was
for
my
being
pleasure.
here. Anthony, how do we reach you?
Anthony Negrelli, 914-548-4345.
Where's your new office?
Valhalla, it's 115 East Stevens Avenue, Valhalla, New York.
And who are you with?
Movement Mortgage.
All right. And Phil, how do we reach you?
Okay, I guess our corporate office, 914-762-2500. I have an office in Pelham, which is 914-738-2200. And we have an office in Mayapack, which is 845-628-2200.
Thank you very much for joining us today, everyone here in the room. Thank you, Melissa, again. I'm going to keep saying it because you broke up the man cave for me today.
I will
I'm
bring my
Victoria
ovaries back.
Rivadeneira. I could be reached at victoriariva.com. You can find all my information there. Thank you again for joining us at the Real Estate Revolution.
From the Energy Studios.
Perfect.
Talk
What a chat.
1230
Doesn't that sound?
WFAS
It does,
1 Planet.
yeah.